So my name is Pinar, and today we are going to focus on how to create a character together with our children. And my assistant is Monsieur Mahmoud. I'm going to start with some small informations, and then we will play some games together and some discover together. It's really open to ask questions. Therefore, don't hesitate if you have a question in your mind. So let's start. I want to share with you my PowerPoint to follow this workshop together. So right now I want to tell you that in this workshop we are going to focus on how to create a character together, but it's not actually a professional workshop to create a character for artistical way. It's more a workshop that you can create characters with your children. So I really like this beautiful frame of Neil Gaiman about the fairy tales, how they true. And unfortunately, I cannot see some of my slides right now. Therefore, I cannot read it properly, but maybe you can read it. Sarah, can you help me in this manner? Maybe I just cannot see my screen right now.
Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us dragons exist, but because they tell us dragons can be beaten.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So the idea is more about, I want you to tell a story. And if you feel this energy that you really want to tell, then so many interesting things will come. Just like that. Like a fish who knows everything can show up. A monkey who loves singing happy songs with his sunglasses can show up. This example is from my friend Hannah, the wombat that could only whisper when he wants to talk. All those small tiny characters is just coming from my mind, and you can do something similar and can play with it with your child. How is the next question. So we are not actually going to discover the America today, but we go back the old wisdom. Long time ago, the Greek philosopher Aristotle developed the idea of the four temperaments according to physical appearance and emotional types. And even it sounds very cliche, it's really real. So there are four kinds of types. One is the fire, which is called courage. So as this wildcat, Duncan Jones, you have some idea about the element of fire. It's a bit impatient, sometimes aggressive, independent, passionate, very future character. And if you have those kind of elements, it means you have more dominance in your character. You have more fire elements. And it also reflects while you are telling a story. And another one is the airy one. And I love this picture so much. The air element is more optimist, more light, more social thinker, more extroverted, fun but fast, sometimes jumping one to another. And the third one is the earth one. Most of the Turkish people already get used to, since our culture is quite melancholic songs. They are quite sensitive, quite emotional, very fixed sometimes, very stubborn. They really prefer to stay on the past tense sometimes. They always want to be in their young time or the other old times. They're a bit dark and slow and very empathic, sympathetic people. By saying those kind of things, let me tell you also, those are the things that comes to my mind as an associations. But of course, maybe the earth element can be different for you, or the fire element can be different for you. But those just give you some sort of ideas. And the fourth element is the water element. And as you see this koala, they are more easy more slow. Sometimes they have the lack of urgency in terms of taking an action. They like repetitive things. They like the rolling things. Those kind of characters has more dominance in their water element. So why it is important? Because if we can find which temperament has a more dominance in our character while we are a child, then actually we can play more with our child easily. It can give us more authentic space. It can give us more space to also play freely and joyfully. So now we want to focus, or at least I want to focus, to support our child's temperament. And here is an example of Pinar. I unfortunately cannot read all the paragraphs since I'm seeing you. So Sarah, maybe can you help me in that sense? Do you want to read it?
Yes. Pinar is short for her age because she started schooling earlier. She started school earlier. She has brown hair and brown eyes. She's very, very energetic and loves to organize games in the playground. Her favorite game was sek hopscotch in school, in which in which she likes to jump and complete the goal. At school, whenever the teacher asks a question, Pinar always has an idea to find an answer and always checks whether other students are listening to her as well. The kind of stories she likes are adventure stories with a lot of obstacles to overcome. She is so curious and always gets bored while listening to descriptive passages and stories. She always wants to pass this part and asks, and then what happened? What happened?
So can you spot this child temperament? It wouldn't be that difficult, right? Is there anyone in this room who wants to say this child temperament? It's not that hard.
Your connection went wrong again. Can you repeat?
Oh no. I just say that, do you have any idea what is the temperament of Pinar? I think it's quite obvious. It shouldn't be that difficult. Ogül, maybe you say it. I see that you will say something.
I don't want to fail you, but maybe fire element.
Yes, exactly. So you can see that this child temperament is the fire. Let's go further. And now we came to the Monsieur Mahmoud part. And Sarah, I will ask you to read it as well, because I can't see this screen at the moment.
Yes. So, Monsieur Mahmoud. Mahmoud is a tall, thin boy with green browny eyes. He does not like to be with other children. He's really happy to spend his time on his own, just being quiet. He's very interested in nature. He spends his time watching snails, maybe 30 minutes, sometimes more. He does not notice when his mother calls him loudly. He prefers to stay at his place and watch the animals move. His teachers reported once that he's too silent in class and that he needs to contribute more. His teacher even asked him, "Why do you not talk in this class? You are a smart boy." He answered, "There is no point, they will not ask me anyway." He mostly likes sad stories which involve separated people who are brought back together again to live happily.
So as you can see, this is very different comparing to Pinar's childhood. And being Monsieur Mahmoud is not easy, I have to say.
Right now, actually, it's your turn. It's your turn to work on. I'm going to ask you to focus on a bit about your childhood as a child, as I shared right now. What kind of temperament you have while you were a child? You can write a small story. You can draw your children version. It's not too long. So as a helpful questions, how was his or her physical appearance? Was he social, or she or he prefers to be alone? Did she play games? What was his or her favorite game, favorite color? does he or she like listening stories, and what kind of stories, or what she or he hate in the stories, and how was the school report? Those kind of small ideas, whatever comes to you. So slowly, then I want to ask you to look at it. What did you write actually? And spotting the inner child temperament can be hard or can be easy. It's something that you can discover more with different dialogues with your inner child. After this workshop, you can write a dialogue, work with together, like the adult version is asking question and the child version is responding as an idea to remember what kind of games she likes or what kind of stories he loves to tell. But the idea in here, if you have already a strong temperament in your inner child, if you can see some adjectives like maybe a curious child, maybe adventurous child, maybe a sad child, maybe a lonely child, with those kind of small, tiny adjective, you can really spot your inner child temperament. And it is really extremely important because while you are inventing stories or telling a story to your child, the source of creation is coming from this inner temperament, inner child. In that sense, if you have the tendency to be telling more earth element stories, then you can tell those stories more nicely. And the tone of the voices and the use of the words and the physical gesture that you are going to play is going to shape your inner storyteller. Therefore, I want to ask you right now, did you find out any discovery about your inner child to support your temperament? Did you enjoy it? Those characters are still staying or not, or they are already gone? Do we all become a melancholic or what? If someone wants to talk, just let me know. No one for now? Okay, then I'm going to skip it, the next practice. So now we are going to do a small practice together in this online platform. And the game of this, the name of this game is, what is the story of this cat? And in normal situation, your partner with your child. Of course, you can combine your partners. Right now, I actually want to ask a volunteer to me that I can play with it. Hannah, do you want to play with me?
Yes, please.
I'm so happy. So this game called Fortunately, Unfortunately. And one person starts a story by saying fortunately, and the other person is saying unfortunately. And then let's see what will come. And Hannah, do you want to be fortunately or unfortunately?
I'm unfortunately.
Unfortunate, okay, unfortunately. I am fortunately. And we will focus on the element of the fire for this particular character.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Long time ago, there was a cat called Bob. Fortunately, he loves her name so much.
Unfortunately, he hated his color.
Fortunately, he knows that he looks so dark, but so beautiful.
Unfortunately, when he looked into the mirror, he couldn't see anything.
Fortunately, he doesn't care at all, and he still wants to show his moves like more strongly. When he walks in the street, he always shows his chest with huge pride, with his dark skin.
Unfortunately, everybody was afraid of him.
Fortunately, he actually likes to be a bit scary, gentle, sweet, dark chocolate kind of character.
Unfortunately, one day he wanted to meet like another cat, like a real friend.
Unfortunately, Bob realized that this cat likes him a lot. And he even put his chest more.
Unfortunately, he put his chest so much more that he hipped, like he took a turn and made a salto, or I don't know the English word, but you know what I mean. And he stood there like a total idiot.
Well, fortunately, this other cat, and it's a feminine cat, I guess, just catch him so quickly, and that was their first touch.
Fertig, oder?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Hannah. I think it's a great story. So
the unfortunately game that we made so far with Hannah creates so many different details and texture and the layers to this story, as you see. And you can play this game with your child, like unfortunately. And in some level, it doesn't matter who is saying fortunately or unfortunately, but you are in this story. And since we gave this element of the fire, subconsciously, we actually dance with the story easily. And what I tell right now with Hannah, you can tell the story together afterwards as well. You can just repeat the story. They always love repetition. And let's move on. Now it's time for you to work this small game together. Fortunately, unfortunately, just I play with Hannah right now. One person will be fortunately, the other person will be unfortunately. But this time, the character, the temperament of this cat is the earth. And let's see what will happen.
I will just put you in breakout rooms where you can unmute yourself quickly and just play the game with your partner for 1 minute, and then I will guide you back, okay?
Enjoy it. Hello everyone again.
hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you like this game?
Yeah,
I
it was
liked
fun.
it a lot.
That's good to know. I'm happy to hear it. So I wanna actually then continue a bit since our time is quite limited. Does anyone actually wants to share the experience, because cat as a earth and this cat as a fire element is quite different, right? I mean, the story that I created with Darren is extremely depressive, yani, I have to tell.
Sorry about that.
It's really okay, but this really gives another quality. That's why we use those temperaments. So I want to go further. And
Can I have a question? Can I ask something?
Sure. Yes, sure.
Because maybe we were so excited that I'm not sure anymore if we paid attention to use the earth element.
Yes.
But maybe I am not completely understanding how we can include these elements inside. Should we always pay attention if?
No.
Okay.
Actually, that's very good question, Ogil. Thank you so much. These 4 elements are quite deep topic, and you can see the physical appearance and emotional layers in a very automatic level. Something inside of us, like subconsciously, is going on. For example, when you met with a guy, you know that he has a more dominance of earth element, or let's say water element. And just like that, while we are telling a story, we don't focus on that much those details anymore, but still we have some clues. To help you for those kind of fictional character, and this fictional character can be anything, you know, like something in your kitchen, a song that you heard, a book that you start to read. There are some opening sessions that I created for you that you can easily play with your child. For example, for the fire element is, once there was a king and a queen who were very happy, but they didn't have a child. So they decided to take an advice from a witch. Fortunately, this witch, and then you start to play this game. For the melancholic one, in a deep, dark dungeon, all on his own, there lived a huge dragon. And you can hear his voice if you can listen carefully during the night, because he's calling his mother deeply, unfortunately. For the water moment, long, long, long ago, in a lush and covered in the clouds and surrounded by the fish sea, there's a fisherman. One day he saw a fish, and this fish looks like a fish, but unfortunately seems like, and then you continue the way how it goes. And for the air one, I create something nice. Once upon a time, maybe before, maybe now, who knows what was the time? Nobody knows it, but everybody knows this song, including the small elephant. Every little piece in my body is happy, every little part of my body is well. Every little piece in my body is happy, every little piece in my body is well. I'm so happy, I'm so well, every little piece in my body is well. You should really congratulate me. Without seeing you, I'm singing this song, you know, to give you those different qualities and temperaments. I am so great. But I hope now you can see about those characters and opening the story. And then with your child, playing this fortunate unfortunate game, or just playing the different sequences, you can create a lot of nice images and characters. So the thing that is really important is, when your child wants to tell a story, you need to just literally shut up and see and watch him or her and play together. And sometimes it can be very strange, very long, maybe very disturbing or violent. But this is the way how we actually activate their imagination. So please, patient, and let them do. In that sense, if they want to be the tiger, they should be the tiger. And if they make you some sort of object, like a box or something, you should be this object. You should give this power to them. Sometimes in our stories, while we are inventing a character, it's extremely normal to feel stuck, or your child is getting stuck. In that moment, we can use the phrases of some threshold phrases, like one day, or suddenly, or the next day. You can also use it in your daily life, by the way. Like, you just say something, but you don't know how to make it dynamically. You can use those frameworks. For example, one day, the father asked his daughter to bring some fire to the house, so she left. Suddenly, an action just showed up. Or the next day, the milk dried up and the small boy could not understand why. So in this kind of stuck moment, you can give a small information, and then you can ask the question to your child. Do you know what happened later? Do you have an idea? Or this phrase of suddenly really creates a magic sometimes while you get stuck. And suddenly this cat, the Bobby, started to cry until the moment crying is actually, I cannot find it right now, but you can really make a connection with those kind of small, tiny threshold moments. This is very important because you have the chance to switch to another's character viewpoint. She cries and cries and cries until the cat saw her mother, for example. Suddenly something is changed. So this is one of the beautiful quotation that I love to share. And if you ask me what you are going to take to your home from this workshop, what is my gift to you, is actually this beautiful quote. Unfortunately, again, Sarah, I cannot read the whole page. Can you read for me?
Yes, a story is a way to say something that cannot be said in any other way.
This is extremely important and the main reason why we are telling stories to our children, because there are so many things that we don't know how to tell our children, how to tell about our problems, maybe our dramas. We also sometimes don't know or don't understand what is their emotions, what they really want to tell us. In that sense, for the situation that you have a problem in terms of communicating with your children, those kind of characters that you want to create together, and the way how you manipulate the stories, the characters, can help you actually to communicate better. In that sense, the story that you created together is a way to say some things that cannot be said in another way. What I'm talking about it, I'm talking about some rules, for example, that you want to teach to them. I'm talking about some borders or breaking some borders, let's say. I'm talking about some emotions that you are hardly communicate with your children, or you just don't know how to express yourself. You can use those small characters to tell it gently, and therefore those temperaments, whatever you have as an inner child, is important, because then you can be more open to yourself and you can be more open to your child. Now we are going to last practice, and then we will go to the question and answer a moment. So this practice that you are going to do in the house called visualization of your house, and what is the name of each room. So right now I'm in my bedroom, but actually for me this is a cave, you know, like this is the way how I put this name to my room. And in this practice, according to age of your child, this is important to say it, because if your child is less than 3 years old, the dimension of space and time is quite limited. You should play this game according to your child's routine, for example, where he eats, where she sleeps, where he plays the game. That's how you can play this game, but still you can play. But if your child is more than 3 years old, you can definitely play together. So as a step one, you will draw the plan of the house together. You can use many different colors and nothing complex, something very easy as a plan. And then you know that where is the bathroom, where is the kitchen, where is the living room, where is the toilet. But from now on in this practice, you should, the task is giving a new name for each room in your plan. For example, for the kitchen, it's not a kitchen anymore. Since I'm doing a lot of spaghetti nowadays, I put the name of Mr. Spaghetti, for example. Of course, I'm sorry for my creativity. Your creativity can be much more nicer. It can be something interesting. And in here, you can ask your child, what should be the name of this new space? In that regard, you can focus on smelling or taste as a senses to trigger the imagination of the kitchen. Is it clear right now? Did you understand what I'm talking about? Like basically you are creating your new home from the beginning, because since we are all locked down in our houses, right now the connection with our house is really, really different. And in that sense, doing this schedule and asking the opinion, what is the name of this place? And then asking more questions, why the name is like that? You can discover which emotions are hiding in this place, and what is the main dominant temperament, for example, in the kitchen, or what is the dominant temperament in the living room. And then you can actually find a way how to tell your stories easily as well, to play with your child more easily. If your child, again, is more than 3 years old, you can create some spectacular character for those new house with the names. And in that sense, you can use the play of fortunately, unfortunately as well. How it looks like, what is the temperament of this character, what he likes, what she likes. And then you can play with this as well. And in terms of discover, according to your connection, I really want to ask what kind of different discovery you can find out. Because according to the new name that you created, you can be so, you can do so many interesting stories. Like long time ago, there was a place called the Palace of the Cookies. In this palace, everybody is skinny and everybody is eating so much cookie. But one day, a cookie monster just show up and say, wow, what are you doing in here? I need to go out. But unfortunately, she could not go out. Now what we are going to do? I just created right now. You can create those kind of small stories, whatever your child is offering you as a name, as an emotions, as a small, tiny trigger sensations that you have. And maybe you will also realize that your child has a different emotions with this room. For example, he or she can resist, I'm not going to play this game today. But the day after, she or he can already say a name to this new houses. This visualization of the name of each room is very interesting because you can really focus on different sensations for each room. And for the books that you are reading and for the stories that you are inventing together, you can explore more and more. In that sense, since it's not a live storytelling workshop, we cannot fortunately play on it. I wish we can play, but I really give this courage to play with your child. Let's see what kind of name and what kind of emotions and what kind of character is showing up to play together. Last but not least, here are some useful sources that I highly recommend all of you to explore. The Storyteller's Way is one of the biggest book for storytellers. A highly recommended book, An Attachment Play, How to Solve Children's Behavior Problems with Play, Laughter and Connection. Some of the games I put from this book. And The Grammar of Fantasy, An Introduction to the Art of Inventing Stories, can be so helpful to find out which games are the most effective for you. So now, is there anyone in this room who enjoyed this workshop? I want to say, Monsieur Mahmoud and I, we are very grateful to you to enjoy my workshop. I am really, really sorry for the internet connection and other things so far. But yeah, I hope to see you for the next meeting. For the next storytelling workshop, we will focus on memorization techniques, how to tell stories more playfully. We will focus on text. It will not be inventing stories session. It will be telling stories session.
And also, if you want to be informed about other workshops by this Medienwerkstatt Encounters, you can just click on the blog on the website we have, and you can subscribe yourself to the newsletter. Then you are also informed about different workshops that we do, right? So I won't add you to any playlist. It's yourself who has to do it. Yeah. But I will keep you informed about the video. Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any questions about temperament or spotting the inner child temperament or spotting their children temperament? It's a very interesting topic. Not really?
For instance,
can I?
Hey.
First, thank you so much. Only I want to ask if we create character, if we use picture, this is good or bad for children?
It's really connected to age of the child, actually. I'm especially use this dark cat because especially I love how he looks like. But according to the age of your child, you can definitely use any kind of picture. You can use the musics and videos. I'm especially use a picture in this workshop because I can take your attention through images, you know, like it's easier to show a picture and then you can follow me. However, of course, there is always a chance that you can create a character without showing anything. I mean, if you want, we can play a game right now. So you can create a game focusing on each time one sensations, for example, and the name of this game called Let's Draw a Character Together. And you can start to say, long time ago, in the middle of a white page, there was a huge ring on the middle. And then you can ask your child what you see in this picture. And then probably he or she will imagine maybe on the left side of this ring or inside of the ring. You can paint a character together. And each time, if you focus on the same sensations, for example, once for sight, and the second for smelling, the third for hearing, like the sounds, and the fourth one is for only tastes, then you can really go deeper. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good to know. Does it make sense, Ceylan? Does it give to you some ideas?
Yeah, thanks so much.
Perfect.
I think we will close it then, right? I mean, I hope that you will join us next week. And if you have any questions that were not answered yet, note them down, keep them, ask them next time. All right?
Thanks a lot. Hope to see you soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.